Alright, so, took in a couple screws out, we have it disassembled to the core components now. We have the feeding mechanism, which we kind of know how that works. This lever pushes in, it activates this motor here, brings these wheels to go around, feeds it into the infinus. Alright, this mechanism is the firing control group, the fully automatic setup. I'm going to disassemble this and see how it looks soon. Might be important for you, might not. That's that. Firing control group, obviously. Rev trigger, firing trigger, notch to make sure magazine's in, the usual three. And some white thing, I have no clue. Actually, I think I do know what it is. If the trigger is pulled, but the orange part here is pushed out, this thing extends as it is now, and it disables this micro switch, so it can't activate the motor in the other direction until it's back and seated and pushing this part back in. I don't know. I don't have a fully automatic blaster aside from this one now. I'm fucking dying. Oh, also, remember this thing that has no spring? Well, I found the spring. It was off over yonder that way. So we have the spring here now, so I can put that in when I'm done. You know, the usual. And then here's the main loading component itself. We have the mechanism to cover the whole thing, and something that detects when the side door over here is shut. And if we ignore that component, we simply have a motor, some sort of gear, and another couple gears. And then you have this thing that slams down to push it into the magazine and slams back up, hitting this micro switch that I still have no clue what happens with it. But, all in all, this thing activates while this motor is going. If this switch is hit, then it'll push this down. There's probably a sensor still in here, so that if there is a dart in here and it's just not fully in, it'll keep the motors going, so that it can feed all the darts that are in here. And then, yeah. So, I'm going to disassemble this component itself and see what this mechanism is, so that we can reproduce that, so that we can see what this motor does to this, so that this can operate. Then, I'm going to disassemble this component for the same purpose, so that we can see how this motor activates all these properly, you know, the usual. As for circuitry, that all probably goes into this board here for probably just a couple of AND gates and shit. Nothing too terrible. Just a little bit of soldering and you'll be able to figure it out yourself. And then, you know, usual flywheel cage and barrel, shitty faux barrel. The expected stuff from Hasbro. But yeah, that's the whole mess.